Today I want to talk to you a little bit more about how Kmart Beauté came together in terms of cosmetics and business services. I really do find that the two are interrelated in terms of what industry you're working in. If you're working in the corporate sector, working in retail, or working in hospitality, you really have to look your best. And we do put our best foot forward in terms of the business apparel that we wear or the way that we look, say, for makeup for ladies or just general grooming for men as well. So obviously we do our hair, try and make our skin look nice and clear as we can. I'll talk more about that. And the clothing that we choose. Now, when I went from cosmetics into the corporate world, I really didn't know a lot, to be honest. So I'm very, very grateful to Brenton Moore, who was the recruiter that got me a position at Regis, because he really taught me to sit back and to observe. It kind of reminds me of an analogy of when you get into a nightclub, when some people are new to the town and they really go hard, go large, make comments and cause trouble and get kicked out, basically. You should really observe, sit back, notice, take information in before you make a comment or an impact. In my case, going from cosmetics, the presentation was there, but not necessarily the apparel. So I didn't really know how to address that well. I did technically wear a suit at the time, but it was more, what would you call a fashion suit? It was a slightly longer, it was single-breasted and slightly a shiny black material as opposed to the corporate look. I didn't really understand that, so I'm grateful to Brenton who mentored me at the time and showed me the materials, showed me the places to go, gave me the contacts of what I needed to do to actually fit the image. So it wasn't necessarily conforming, it was expressing myself, maybe in the coloured tie that I use, or different accessories, etc. But at the end of the day, the core basis had to be a really good suit. I was grooming myself to get into the professional world to a certain degree when I was working in cosmetics because I always wanted to go up a little bit higher, say area manager, that sort of thing in head office. And at the end of the day, the best research that I had was men's magazines, in particularly GQ, Gentleman's Quarterly. I found it really helpful in the fact that it showed me different types of materials because years ago I used to wear really cheap suits, like $100 suit, and unfortunately it was polyester, my skin couldn't breathe, the collared shirts were like $5 each and they were just cutting into my neck. Now that's all changed. The shirt that I have now looks pretty standard, but it's actually not. It's finely milled and at the same time it doesn't crease that easily, so you don't have to iron it as much. But at the end of the day, I iron every day before I start work. It really helps me to prepare myself. It does have the little inserts there in the collars, which I didn't really know much about. You can remove those at night, especially if you're going to iron it. And we've got the French cuffs. So the French cuffs just give it that professional look, and the cutaway collar there just opens that up there. Skinny tie makes you look a little bit bigger. The fatter tie makes you look a little bit smaller. So there's a little quick trick there. The other key thing was the material, like I was talking about in GQ. This material in itself, even though it's very professional looking, it actually feels like a cotton t-shirt. So it's a long sleeve cotton t-shirt, very comfortable to wear all day. If I knew this like 15 years ago when I worked in Harrods, it would have been a lifesaver because I was sweating like crazy because of the artificial materials and the environment that I was in. There was no air conditioning back then as well because it's an old building. They had to refit the building. So at the end of the day, I was very uncomfortable. And mentally, that image of a suit was stuck in my mind and that comfort. So I really couldn't get around it until I did the research with GQ magazine and looked at materials. Wool. I was fearful of wool as well because I thought, oh, itchy hot for a woolen jacket, business jacket and business pants. But the wool now is very, very fine and very breathable, so it really does feel like cotton, which is fantastic. So do your research first. I'd recommend the men magazines. In terms of other accessories as well that I was mentioning before, I would recommend getting a really good watch, probably not as expensive as this one, but you can get watches from about $200 to $250 that are just going to give you that professional edge when they poke out. Nice business pen really helps to lift a game as well. If you have business cards, a business card holder, I wouldn't worry too much about card holders because you find that you're shuffling them about all the time. Having a business card loose is absolutely fine. In terms of the watch, I would really recommend maybe a metallic or a leather band. Nothing that's Velcro or too sporty because at the end of the day, that looks a little bit too casual. If you wanted that for sports for the weekend, just have two watches and alternate. But I would get a watch that's pretty neutral that can go from day to night, weekend to weekday, quite flexible. The other thing is personal grooming I'm going to touch on. See, teeth are very important. At the end of the day, your teeth are on presentation. I used to whiten my teeth at home with very limited to zero success, I must be honest, because you had to put in the little plates in there with the gel while you're watching TV and you're trying not to swallow your own saliva because there's peroxide in there. It's just too hard. Even the whitening pens as well were just a little bit too tricky. Call me lazy, but to have to do that 20 minutes every night for several couple of weeks is exhausting. I had the latest treatment from Bleach Bright at Espavita Spa, and that brought my teeth shade down from an S18 to an S12. So that's 6 shades lighter, as you can see there. So I didn't really want to go down to a 0, so it could look like Ross from Friends and go fluorescent white. I still wanted to look white, but still natural, and that's exactly what I got, which was great. That was 20 minutes of my time. Fantastic results. Hands. Your hands are on show. I used to work in a beauty salon many, many years ago when I did hairdressing, and there we had a lot of male TV presenters that came in that were getting manicures, and I was like, okay, I've got an open mind, but that was unusual, I thought. Normally it's all ladies that get their nails done, and I was questioning as to why they were getting nails done. They said because when they're on TV and they've got their hands on the desk and they're presenting, their hands are on show and they're conscious of that fact. So keeping it simple, I would recommend something like Burt's Bees hand cream, which is, you see the packaging, it's red, it's pretty neutral. You can chuck it in your sports bag or go with it. Hand cream is a little bit richer, not too rich that it's going to leave any greasy stains, because especially if you're working in an office, you're playing with a lot of paperwork and that really gets into your cuticles and dry fingers, dry hands. Why should you bother? Because you're shaking hands for clients. Do they really want to have dry, scaly hands to shake or wet and sweaty hands to shake? I don't think so. It's that professional edge. It's your business card. This is your business card. Just give it a little bit of effort for maximum effect, okay? The other part, final part, would be a facial. Now, I have my home ritual facial on my blog. I definitely recommend that you check that out. Alternatively, to supplement that as well and give it a lift, I recommend a facial once a month. Again, from Espavita, I had an amazing O Cosmetics Luminosity facial, which was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's like a thick paste that goes over your skin. It feels like molasses. It really covers up. It sets within 5 minutes. And then they peel it right off and reveal the new you. It was absolutely phenomenal. But anything that's deep cleansing, anti-aging, those facials are all wonderful. Once a week, if you can, do it at home. Once a month at a professional beauty spa. So that's it. I would like to thank you all for watching today. Look good, feel better, and think better too. Thanks, guys.